Welcome to another edition of Cultivate Advisors Client Spotlight. Here at Cultivate, our mission is to partner with committed entrepreneurs in propelling their business beyond expectations. One of those businesses is with us today, Ryan Good, President and CEO of Foundations. At Foundations, their mission is to provide Northeast Wisconsin with counseling and foster care services. Stay tuned to listen more about how they serve our communities as well as their relationship with Cultivate. Welcome, everyone. I'm Tina Moser here with Cultivate Advisors. And with me today is Ryan Good of Foundations. I thought it was important to share with the world what they are doing as a business because they're a little bit different. They are a nonprofit organization. So this feature is really to share with you about what they do, who they serve, and how to make a difference and really make a difference in our community and in the world. So welcome, Ryan. I appreciate you being with me today and being willing to talk about your company.
Well, thanks for having me. I appreciate the opportunity.
Sure. And like I said, Foundations is a nonprofit organization. Can you tell us a little bit about how the organization got started and really who you serve?
Yes, so Foundations was started all the way back in 1965. So we've been a nonprofit serving this community for over 50 years. And really, we got started by George Kress, who founded Green Bay Packaging, and then also Norman Vincent Peale, who wrote The Power of Positive Thinking. And basically, what George Kress wanted for our community is a place where people could go for mental health counseling and also integrate spirituality into care. And so really we focus on mind and spirit. So if the client would like to integrate their spirituality into their clinical session, our therapists are all trained on how to do so. And then we also have a foster care component to our organization. And so we serve children who have been uprooted from their homes, typically due to abuse or neglect. And then what we do is we train, license, and support foster families and place these children in their homes until these kids are able to find some type of permanency, whether that's reunifying with their parents, whether it's adoption, and sometimes these children will age out of foster care.
Awesome. And I know you have a pretty big footprint here in Wisconsin. Can you share what your footprint really is for both of those services?
Yes, so for our outpatient counseling, we obviously have a clinic on West Mason Street in Green Bay. But then through outpatient counseling, we're also in 3 school districts serving children within their schools. We also embed therapists at a lot of the homeless shelters around Brown County, the Boys and Girls Clubs, the Aging and Disability Resource Center. So we really try and reduce as many barriers to care for as many people as we can, which is why we embed those therapists where those individuals are already meeting. Also for foster care, we have 5 branch offices throughout Wisconsin in Green Bay, Fox Valley, Sheboygan, Janesville, and Milwaukee. And we're continuing to develop 1 new branch office every year to meet the needs of these foster youth throughout the state. It's really cool. Our therapists actually are in the top 10% nationwide in their outcomes for mental health counseling. So it's high quality services that we're offering. With foster care, we're the fastest growing foster care organization in the state. And we're always, again, looking for more families that are looking to serve kids that are in out of home care.
You talked a little bit about who you serve. And I know you're growing at capacity. You're adding counselors at all the time. You're adding locations like you just mentioned. Is there ever a point where you have to turn people away, or do you serve everyone?
We serve everyone. Part of our DNA and mission is justice, and we believe everyone has the right to mental health care regardless of their ability to pay. And so that's a big focus for our organization. And we work with people of all ages. Our youngest clients are probably 4 years old, all the way, through the lifespan is the demographic we work with. And through foster care, we're considered a treatment foster care agency. And so often the kids we work with are either sibling groups or the adolescent population are really the two specialties we have for foster care.
I think that's phenomenal. We all know someone who needs some of those services at one point in their life or another, right? So
Yes.
It's really nice to know that like you won't be turned away. There's no judgment, obviously. And it's like, just come in and get the help that you need.
Exactly.
I always like hearing great stories about, the businesses that I work with and that are in, specifically even in my community. So what comes to mind for you of like, where you could say, here's something that, a story that really kind of represents holistically what Foundations does?
Yeah, so I'll give you an example of just a foster youth that I worked with quite a few years back. He came to us when he was 13, and he experienced a lot of childhood trauma in his background. And when I would first go meet with him in the foster home, we'd be sitting at the kitchen table. I'd be trying to talk to him, and he would turn himself completely around and look out the back picture window. Just would not engage in any type of conversation with me, did not want me there. But through time, we really developed trust, and through the support of his foster family, he was able to trust people again. And then he ended up being in care for many years. And what we ended up doing was making him a youth leader at our summer program, which is where we teach foster youth independent living skills. And so he took a leadership role in that. Is really a neat kid and developed kind of into who he is now. And then now he's actually speaking with foster families that are interested in becoming licensed with us. And he shares really his experience and things to consider from a child's perspective, and really has helped give us a more holistic picture of what foster parenting is all about. And so, just a neat individual and certainly a big success.
I like that too, of like he's helping, from Foundation side of what his perspective is, and then other people who are in his shoes or where his shoes were, and even now, right? It's like very much holistic. I love that. And to see
exactly,
that growth,
yes.
Absolutely. Like not paying attention to you, to being, part of your advocate, right? For the company.
Absolutely. Yeah. He's an ambassador for our organization now.
Yeah. That's awesome. I love it. What is kind of the biggest needs out there for foundations and or companies like yours?
One of the biggest needs throughout the state is actually for more foster families. There's way more children in foster care than there are families available right now. And so the more loving and supportive families that we're able to license in this state, the better it's going to be for these youth that are in need of out-of-home care. If someone doesn't want to get fully involved in fostering themselves, there are real practical things that can be done as well to help support foster parents in our community. And that would be things like being a respite care provider. So you may just care for a child over the weekend when the foster parent has to go out of town or needs a break. It might be putting a yard sign in your front yard just to raise awareness for the need for more foster families. It might be supporting those foster parents, in your community by bringing them just a meal, once a month or something. So there's some really neat things that can certainly help support the foster care system in our state and our communities. And then for counseling, as I mentioned earlier, our mission is innovating care to heal the mind and spirit. And as a nonprofit, we are dedicated to serving everyone regardless of their ability to pay. And so a lot of our fundraising efforts goes into helping our neighbors being able to receive the mental health counseling that they need. And so supplementing some sessions for an individual is an ongoing need within our organization. So, and then I think also just everyone in our community's ownership of reducing the stigma of what mental health care means, and just being able to ask your friends or family, hey, how are you doing? And really trying to dive into just supporting them on an emotional level is something that's I think crucial for all of us, and especially given these times we're in right now.
Yeah, I think that's so important. And check on your neighbor, be extra sensitive, especially like you said, these times. But, mental health is a real thing for a lot of people. And it's not at least in my opinion, and I would imagine you would agree that it can be temporary too. You can be going through something where you need help temporarily.
Yeah, that's absolutely the case. Don't be afraid to ask, no, how are you really doing? And diving in to just be a support and just a listening ear to someone that just may need to get some things off their chest and feel heard and understood.
Yeah, I like it. That's kind of part of what we do as Cultivate Advisors, right? Be another ear, someone to talk to. Although we also grow the business too.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Speaking of that, you've been working with me. You're working with Cody, another advisor here at Cultivate. So what has having that partner of Cultivate and us as experienced business advisors, what has that done for you and for foundations?
Yeah, so working with both Tina and Cody have been just an awesome experience for me as a executive director, overseeing an organization. And so it's some outside eyes looking into the organization, because oftentimes, I'm in the weeds. I'm, just working on the threats and the challenges and the program development and those kinds of things within the organization. And so it's nice to have some time carved out a couple times a month just to focus on the bigger picture, to focus on the forest of what's truly going on in our organization, setting appropriate priorities. And then really what Tina and Cody have helped me with personally is just being more of an analyst. So what is the data showing, and how can I interpret that data to inform my decision making moving forward, and also help project trends within the organization, which is really something that I didn't have a great handle on before, but am growing in because of the regular support from Tina and Cody. So that's been really a game-changing skill set that I've developed. Yes.
What would you say to other nonprofit organizations such as foundations, if they're in a position where, they're listening to you and thinking about, potentially having a partner like Cultivate Advisors? What advice would you give them, or what was your deciding factor to join forces with us?
Yeah, I think it was my desire to go to the next level as a leader for my organization. And truly, it's tied to our mission. I feel like the more effective leader I am, the more positive impact it's going to have on those we serve who are looking for mental health services, and that we have the capacity to provide those services. And then same with foster care, wanting to make sure that every child who's referred to us would have an appropriate home to go to. And so that mission has really been tied into me moving forward with Cultivate. And it's just been an excellent investment for our organization and for my, again, professional and personal development.
If other nonprofits wanted to pick your brain on your relationship with Cultivate, or even people in our community looking to either, somehow assist, like you had mentioned, with your biggest need, or someone who actually needs the services, how would someone reach out to you?
Yeah, probably by email would be the best. And my email address is rgood@wearefoundations.org. And I would be more than happy, to share any information I know through my experience and through the mission of our organization.
Thanks again, Ryan.
Great, thank you.
If you would like to learn more about Cultivate Advisors and how we help small businesses propel forward, please reach out to me at tina@cultivateadvisors.com and schedule a 2-hour free advising session. Thank you for listening to another Client Spotlight.